memory was made last night here at Miller Park, and they are back going through the turnstiles, ready for the final game of this series. Who knows what we're going to see tonight? Trevor Hoffman right back at work. It may look like he's having a friendly catch with a football, but that's part of his exercise pattern, his running drills. He was right back at it today after his historic 600 save last night. And hi, everybody. We welcome along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. And Rock, what a night last night. It was something special. One of those great moments here at Miller Park that we will never forget as Trevor Hoffman saved number 600.
Yeah, there's been a lot of moments here at Miller Park that give you goosebumps. Prince Fielder's 50th home run, the 08 season where the Brewers got to the playoffs, but none better than this one last night. Trevor Hoffman, how hard he worked to get to this moment last night. At age 42, it's incredible that he's even pitching, let alone getting that save. This is something that the entire team, the entire organization was wondering, was it ever even going to happen this year? But last night was a night. What a great night here at Miller Park.
Well, you want some perspective? How about John Axford? He has 20 saves this year, right? If he averages 40 saves a year, he'll get to 600 in the year 2025. That's how impressive Trevor Hoffman was last night. He's at 600 and counting. Where will it end? We'll see. Back to the grind today, though. It's the final game of the series. A pair of left-handers. Jaime Garcia, the terrific young rookie, against Chris Capuano. We'll set up the pitching matchup when we continue. Is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. Roof is closed on a cool Wednesday night here in Milwaukee. We welcome you back from Miller Park. We're just moments away from first pitch. And Rock tonight, it's Chris Capuano against Jaime Garcia.
I tell you, Cappy was tremendous his last time out against the Philadelphia Phillies. That changeup, outstanding that last time out. He's going to have that pitch. This guy right here, one of the most consistent starters in all of baseball. He's got the fourth best earned run average in all of the National League.
Well, there's no question. The crowd behind is still buzzing about Trevor Hoffman last night. They are honoring him down below. A great presentation before the game here today by the crew here at Miller Park, and Trevor Hoffman out for a tip of the cap before he goes back to work. 600 in the books. Where will it end? This is the same town where 755 occurred for Hank Aaron. Maybe it'll be down the road for Trevor Hoffman as well. Tonight is also Roberto Clemente night, and we've got our eye on Ricky Weeks. He is the Clemente Award finalist. lineups. First pitch coming up next.
One coach, one manager, one player, and one fan. Everybody got thrown out. So, guys that missed Hoffman 600.
Thanks for enduring a long season. Thank you to my family on the field, my family off the field. What tremendous support I've been given by everybody. I truly appreciate everybody's loyalty and perseverance with me through all this. It means a lot. It's you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, boys, and you check your ego into the door, and good things will happen. So I appreciate everyone. I love you guys. I hope we all remember this forever.
You couldn't ask for a better teammate, a better guy. Both with his, his work ethic and his kind of taking control of the bullpen, and just buying into the whole thing, and just seeing how professional he's been dealing with all these situations that have come up. And you couldn't ask to have a better guy.
I'm very honored to be here right now. I tell you, that's something that's so special to me. I remember for the rest of my life.
I was just hoping inside that that he was going to go out there, because I know he deserves it. I knew he could get it done.
Our family, as close knit as we are, and everything else, we're so proud of you, of the accomplishments that you've done, and been all afloat to get to this 600 is quite an achievement. But we love you. Enjoy it. I know we're thinking of you, and we're there with you.
And that was the scene just a moment ago here at Miller Park prior to Game 3 of this series with the St. Louis Cardinals. As Trevor Hoffman, he's going to have a tough time coming down from that night last night and what he has experienced here today. But he was back at work early, and we are ready to go. Baseball in Milwaukee continues as Chris Capuano is ready to go against the Cardinals. Facing Tyler Green, at his first pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go. Home plate umpire is Scott Berry. Bob Davidson, Tim Cheetah, and Tim Timmons, the base umpires. Into right field, Tyler Green sends one to Hart and one away in the first. You've met Tyler Green. Let's give you the rest of the St. Louis Cardinals lineup, courtesy of Tony La Russa and courtesy of Subway. Tyler Green, Colby Rasmus, Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday with Nick Stavanoa and Pedro Feliz in the middle of La Russa's batting order. And then it's Brendan Ryan, Matt Pagnazzi, and Jaime Garcia.
Chris Capuano making his 5th start of the year, and 3 of his first 4 starts, he's given up only a combined 5 earned runs. So he's pitched pretty well in that starting rotation. And Ken Maka is hoping that he can pitch a little bit deeper into the game tonight.
Well, starting pitching has been good lately for the Brewers. The entire month of September, as a matter of fact, as Colby Rasmus rolls out 2 away here in the first. And let's check the defense behind Capuano, brought to you by Blaine's. Braun, Kane, and Hart in the outfield. McGee, Escobar, Weeks, and Fielder around the horn. And Jonathan Lucroy will catch Chris Capuano. Well, Ken Maka, 1 of 4 ejected last night. So although he was not actually in the dugout, in plain sight of the action last night, he was back in the clubhouse. There was a manager, a player, a coach, and a fan all thrown out. And until Trevor Hoffman's spotlight in the 9th inning, really it was Bob Davidson who was making all the headlines. He was now the third base umpire of this game.
Yeah, Ken Maka was the first to go last night. Many to follow.
Pujols into left field. That's pretty well hit. Braun looks up, and there it goes. Albert Pujols gives the Cardinals the lead. That took no time to get out of here. Number 36 of the year for Albert Pujols, and his 98th run batted in.
Now it's a changeup up and out over the plate. Albert able to wait back and knock it on out of here. The changeup, a key pitch for Capuano his last start, but he was able to keep him down in the zone. That went up, and Pujols rode it out of here. A little bit off the end of the bat, but Pujols strong enough to get it out of here to left.
Well, he's handled Chris Capuano in his career. Pujols has handled just about everybody, but that is his 4th career home run against Chris Capuano, and he gives the Cardinals a 1-0 lead. Now the Cardinals dropping a game yesterday, or not picking up a game is the best way to say it. They are now 6 back of the Cincinnati Reds as the Brewers beat them yesterday. The series has been split 1 game apiece. St. Louis won the opener by an 8-6 final score. And of course last night the Brewers winning as Trevor Hoffman saved it for Chris Narveson. Matt Holliday into right. Corey Hart's got a long way to go, but he'll run it down for the out, and the inning is over. But Pujols strikes a solo homer, 1-0 Redbirds. Now the Brewers coming to bat for the first time And Ken Maka's lineup brought to you by Subway with Weeks, Hart, and Braun at the top of the order. Prince Fielder sitting on a modest 8-game hitting streak right now. That includes 2 homers during the 8-game streak. He's followed by Casey McGee, then Lorenzo Cain, Escobar, Lucroy, and Capuano round out the Milwaukee 9 here today against left-hander Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, Jaime Garcia coming off a win his last time out. Tremendous month of August. Only a 3-2 record, but a 2.35 earned run average for the month of August. His 5th start against Milwaukee and only his 2nd here at Miller Park.
Well, he has been as good as their 2 aces this year, Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter. What a find Jaime Garcia has been for the St. Louis Cardinals this season. And he will be on plenty of ballots for Rookie of the Year this year. Garcia begins the day with the 4th lowest ERA in the National League, right behind his teammate Adam Wainwright. And those 13 wins as well. Matt Latos leads the league in ERA to start play today. He picked up a big win last night for the Padres. And Latos a 2.21 earned run average.
Now, this guy has only had 3 starts this year of his 26, where he's given up more than 3 earned runs. That's how good he's been. Every month has been a good one except for June.
Ricky Weeks down on strikes. And 1 gone for Garcia, who features one of the best curveballs you'll see in all of baseball.
Yep, curveball and changeup, both of them pretty good pitches. There's the curveball right there.
So 1 away, and let's set the Cardinals defensively with Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus, and Nick Stavinoa in the outfield. It's Feliz, Ryan, Green, and Pujols around the horn, with Matt Pagnazzi making his first start of 2010. Yadier Molina gets the day off. The Cardinals are headed to Atlanta tonight. They start a 4-game series with the Braves beginning tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Brewers will have tomorrow off before the Chicago Cubs come to town Friday night. Weekend series here at Miller Park against the Cubs. Corey Hart rips one back up the middle, base hit.
Well, get him early. He's a good ground ball to fly ball ratio. 2.5 ground balls every fly ball, and ordinarily you got to get guys like that early. He starts quickly, but then has a little bit of a hitch right there. Kind of has a little bit of a hesitation, and if you get caught up in that, he can give you problems.
Now, if you're wondering why Garcia went unnoticed to begin the year, he was coming off a Tommy John surgery, the ligament replacement surgery on his pitching elbow, and he came back last season, just a year removed from surgery, which he had in 2008. And he was able to pitch in the playoffs down in the minor leagues. And he showed enough there where Tony La Russa and the Cardinals thought he might have a chance to crack the rotation, perhaps a bullpen spot to begin the year. And he has been much more than that in 2010 for St. Louis.
Yeah, who would have thought? He's been able to put together the starts. He's been able to get put together a .238 opponent batting average.
Chance for 2 here, and it's bobbled by Ryan. Normally one of the most sure-handed shortstops in the big leagues, but that could be a costly error. Instead of 2 outs and the inning over, 2 on for Prince Fielder.
Man, you know you're going to be busy with Garcia out on the mound. We talked about all the ground balls that he throws, and no excuse to be caught in this situation. He gets rid of it, but never really has a handle on it, trying to be quick, because you know Ryan gets down the line pretty quick.
Error number 14 for Brendan Ryan, and that gives Fielder an opportunity here with 2 on. Well, surprising to see the Cardinals struggle defensively. This is normally a very good defensive team. They execute well, but they have not played very good baseball lately. St. Louis quickly falling out of the race momentarily, dropping to as many as 8 games behind the Reds. They've been able to make up a couple of games by taking 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati. But St. Louis has lost 7 of their last 10 games.
Well, it's been offense that's been the problem for Tony La Russa. Just has not been able to find any consistency. And case in point, his lineup here tonight. Guys moved all around the batting order trying to find something to put some runs on the board.
2 balls, no strikes on Fielder. And a little chopper over to first. Pujols will make the play for the second out. So Fielder retired. The runners advance. And for our scouting report tonight on Jaime Garcia, we go to Brewers hitting coach Dale Swain.
You know, very good run and sink on his fastball. Keeps it away for the most part. A hard little slider, cutter type thing. He keeps on the hands of right-handers, and obviously a really good changeup and a curveball that he throws. And he throws all his pitches for strikes. Keeps you off balance for the most part.
Yeah, 153 in the third innings coming in, and he's only given up 8 home runs, and one of those home runs to a left-handed batter. He's been tough.
Well, here is Casey McGee, who had a big night last night, gave the Brewers the lead in last night's game. A little bouncer. Second baseman Green will make the play, so it ends quickly. Brewers strand a pair. Garcia pitches around an error. Well, when we come back, we will visit with Chris Narveson. He'll join us from the dugout. Talk about Trevor's 600, among many other subjects. Stay with us. To the second inning, and we are joined now by Chris Narveson, Brewers starting pitcher, who won last night. You were the winner in Trevor Hoffman's 600 save. That's got to feel nice at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was pretty special. You know, it was awesome to see him come in and save it. You know, before the game, I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, he's got 599. It'd be pretty cool to, you know, get to that situation, have him come into the game, and it ended up working out. And you know, it was fun to go out there and watch him throw and finish the game.
Chris, what has Trevor Hoffman meant to this pitching staff this year?
He's meant everything. You know, he's sort of that father figure and the leader all in one. He kind of brings us all together, keeps us together. You know, when things may not be going the way we want, and I think that shows through the way his season's gone. He's kept working and just kept at it, and it shows us, that it takes that type of dedication to be successful.
Now you seem to be dialed in right now. Your last few starts, very good. What has been the difference now and middle part of the season?
I think just executing pitches and trying to stay with your game plan and knowing what pitches are successful for you and how to attack the hitters. It's a lot has to do with confidence. A lot of the mental aspect of pitching is very big, and to be able to have that confidence out there on the mound is big as well.
You'll have to confirm something for us. We were watching you last night. Your changeup looks like it is as good now as it has been all year, and we noticed that your changeup's moving different directions at times. Sometimes it sinks, sometimes it's got a little cut to it. Is that on purpose, or is that a mistake?
I think we're kind of trying to just keep it down a lot of times, because usually down you get to stay out of trouble. But it's definitely one of those things where the changeup, you want to try to keep it away, but if you keep it down, a lot of times you'll have success with it.
Now tell us the game plan, because Capuano, a left-hander, facing the Cardinals like you did. Very similar game plan, I would imagine. Talk to us about St. Louis and what you're looking for from Capuano tonight.
Just looking to keep them off balance. You know, you got to kind of move them front, back, in and out. A lot of times when you think that they're sitting fastball, you got to be able to throw the changeup for a strike, and you also have to be able to pitch inside to keep them honest. It really opens up the outside if you can handle that inside part of the plate.
All right, Chris, we appreciate your time tonight, and congratulations on your win last night, your 11th, and now you are officially part of history. Trevor Hoffman 600 save. He saved it for you, my friend.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
All right, that's Chris Narveson. That's got to be a great feeling. You know, guys like Narveson and Lucroy, who said he's never going to use that glove again. Craig Counsell was involved in all 3 outs of the 9th inning as well, and he said that was a special thrill. Escobar ranging over, and he makes a nice play for out number 2.
Yeah, Chris Narveson is just one of a string of very good starts by the Milwaukee Brewers. And, you know, talking about Narveson, he's got those 11 wins. He didn't even start the season in the rotation. And we give all these accolades to Jaime Garcia. He's got 13 wins. Narveson only 2 behind. But as we talked about, the starting rotation has been very good. I mean, up and down that rotation. Giovanni Gerardo, a very good start. Randy Wolf, his last 3 starts have been tremendous. So, you know, as goes that starting rotation, you figure the bullpen is going to benefit as the season goes on.
Now you're in the second time through the rotation. Narveson actually started the run on September 1st against Cincinnati, and now you're in the second loop through the rotation. You hope they can keep it going here. Little squibber to fielder. He'll take it himself at a 3-up, 3-down inning for Chris Capuano. .600 is the milestone, but with every save, Trevor Hoffman sets a new major league record. A reminder that FoxSportsWisconsin.com is your home for all the exclusive news and information on your Brewers. Log on for daily updates, exclusive blogs, complete schedules, and more. That's FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Tonight, you can log on to see exclusive footage of Trevor Hoffman's 600 save, and you can hear from Trevor and his teammates.
I'd like to go out there and see how high that thing goes.
That's a good point.
615, 620. What do you think?
I'm not sure. That's an excellent observation by the expert analyst Bill Schroeder. Lorenzo Cain rolls out for out number 1. Well, while you're thinking about that, Rock, here's our Carsuit.com email the booth question. Tony from Cedarburg wants to know, how high does the save tally board go? And then he also wants to know, where does last night rank for us as far as moments you've been a part of in baseball?
Let's go to moments here at Miller Park.
Okay, moments in Miller Park.
You know, number 1 obviously is 08, last game of the season.
Right.
I think last night was number 2. And then I think Prince's 50th home run.
I'll go for that. I'll add the opening of Miller Park with President Bush.
Okay.
Throwing out the first pitch. And then I would say Ryan Braun's grand slam against the Pirates. That was in the final week as well. So I would say I'm going to rank Trevor's spot.
You don't have to name them all.
Do we have to rank them?
Yeah, where does that rank? I said number 2.
I like 2. See, if I say
tongue.
2, it sounds like I'm just agreeing with you. But I was thinking 2.
Yeah.
And I was thinking same as you, CC Sabathia in the final out, the last game of the regular season of 08.
So we agree.
We're going to agree this time.
Wow.
Well done.
Season must be coming to an end.
Everybody's friendly this time of year. What does the Chuck think? That's what we'd all like to know. Chris Withers, Michael Odino. No response. Nothing but crickets coming from the Chuck. They've got number 1. They're going with number 1. Mike Vasallo has chimed in. He thinks the number 1 moment was Bob Davidson throwing out a fan last night. Rumor has it that even Bernie Brewer got a stare down from Bob Davidson last night.
Yeah.
He was close to getting run as well.
Well, Bernie was messing around by the Brewer dugout, I think, causing some problems.
I tell you.
But just having some fun. You can't have fun in baseball, Bob.
That's where Bob has issued Bernie Brewer tonight. He's as far away from the field as possible. That's where he belongs. Feliz gobbles up another one. And a good strong throw for out number 2. Yep, the objections were the story last night, and you really can't say you disagree with any of them, actually. You never know what went on between the fan and Bob Davidson, but Dave Duncan was thrown out. Ken Maka was the first to go. Chris Dickerson slammed his bat and his helmet, and he was gone. And then Bob Davidson ejecting the fan as well, who got a few parting shots as well. Whatever he said, it wasn't good. Bob Davidson is not looking to throw out fans.
It had to be bad because umpires and catchers alike, they put up a lot with the fans behind who played all over baseball. Some of the things that fans come up with actually are pretty funny. But apparently Bob Davidson didn't hear anything that was amusing.
He was in no mood last night. That was an entertaining game last night.
Yeah. You know, the one moment that we haven't really talked about, the whole lead up and the All-Star game here in Milwaukee, that was a lot of fun.
Good
I mean,
point.
the ending wasn't all that great, but
2002 home run derby.
And home run derby, all the fanfare around the All-Star game, and that was a lot of fun.
They're like your children, right? You don't want to rank them. You just want to kind of have them all there and love on them, give them some Christmas presents.
All of your cherished moments. Yes.
No balls, 2 strikes on Lucroy with 2 men out in the second inning. I do want to recognize the St. Louis Cardinals as well. After the game ended, and keep in mind the Cardinals are in a pretty hot pennant race right now. They were all out there clapping and tipping the cap to Trevor Hoffman. This is after he has just closed them out, and they've just lost an important game. So that was quite a moment to see the St. Louis Cardinals out on the top step of the dugout as well.
Yeah, nobody wants to be on the losing end of something like that, but they witnessed history as well.
I think it goes to show you just the kind of impact that Trevor Hoffman has had, not just on his teammates, but against his opponents as well. Last night in San Diego, as the Padres were leading the Dodgers, they played the final out from our broadcast on the Jumbotron there at Petco Park, and there was a standing ovation in San Diego as well.
Yeah. Padres won again, 2 in a row.
And it was Heath Bell who replaced Trevor Hoffman in San Diego, who nailed down the save for the Padres last night. 552 of Hoffman's 600 saves as a San Diego Padre. And that had to be a special moment for Trevor to hear about, but for his brother Glenn to experience. Glenn is the third base coach of the San Diego Padres.
Boy, how well do you think Trevor slept last night? I bet he just slept like a baby. That 500-pound gorilla off his back.
Good battle here. Lucroy and Garcia. And another one to third. Look at this play by Feliz. Long throw in time. He makes all 3 plays of the bottom of the second. None better than that one. And the side retired. Brewers go in order. We head to the third from Miller Park. Official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. Back at Miller Park, and we head to the third inning, and joining us now is General Manager Doug Melvin. It's always good to have Doug, and we always try to catch up with Doug at least once a homestand, and this is a good night to do it because Trevor Hoffman, a guy that you signed not once but twice, and what a moment we saw here last night. You've seen a lot of baseball. Where'd that rank for you?
Yeah, it's pretty high up on the list. Obviously, as Trevor would say, winning is always the biggest achievements, but you get to milestones and individual goals like that, that's got to be at the top of the list.
Special moment here at Miller Park. Oh, by the way, we got to put our, usually when Doug comes up, we put our Doug Melvin bobblehead up.
It's good to see there's a couple of them left.
With the head still on it.
Yeah, right, that's right.
So, there's one out here in the third inning.
Nice little painting that the organization gave to Trevor. Where did that all come about?
Yeah, Tyler Barnes and the front office, Rick Schlesinger, and then we knew we wanted to give Trevor something, and that's been sitting in an office upstairs, and I've walked by it a number of times, and I'm glad we're able to give it to him here at home in front of our fans, and then the T-shirts was nice to be able to present to his kids, and that having Tracy and the 3 boys here was very special because for Trevor, it was very big for him to have them here and be a part of it.
I threw out the question to Brian. Brian usually knows everything, but how high does that 600 banner go? I mean, how many saves?
Well, I don't know. Is there a 601 behind there?
I guess we'll find out at some point, but I'm not sure. It might be at the end of the rope, but I don't know.
No, I'm sure he's going to save a few more here. He's thrown the ball really well. His last 20-some appearances, he's got a 2-something ERA, and that's a great thing about him. I remember when he was struggling earlier on we were in Minnesota, and he came into the suite in Minnesota. I gave him a call and just said, "Hey, Trevor, let's sit down, have a cup of coffee, and visit." And you know, it was more or less, "Hey, we're not giving up on you. You know, keep the chin up." But you know, he's the kind of guy that really doesn't need that kind of encouragement. But I tell you, he was pretty down during that stretch. During that period of time, he was pretty down. But you know, the teammates rallied around him. He never stopped working. It was fun after 600 saves. I came down here to the dugout this morning. He's walking down the right field foul line, grabbed all the relievers, and they went and did a lap of the outside of Miller Park, headed back in, and he was doing the rubber tubing and the running and whatever program they have, and that. So he's probably thinking about 700. That's the kind of guy he is.
3 up, 3 down inning. Could you stay for another half inning? Doug Melvin will stay with us. We'll continue our visit when we come back. Now within 20 minutes of Trevor notching history-making save last night, the Brewers team store by Majestic was completely filled to capacity and sold out. So there are plenty more. However, through our broadcast today, we'll continue to tell you how you can get a piece of the history, the poster, and the T-shirt. And Doug Melvin joins us here in the booth as we continue our conversation with the Brewers general manager. As Chris Capuano leads off, and Doug, so many moments, and we've heard from Trevor today, and he is such an inspirational speaker. You don't know what he'll do when his career is over, but he could certainly go out and empower an entire company, you would say. And any moments that you can share with us from last night that maybe we didn't get a chance to hear?
Well, first off, his presence inspires you in what he does and his work ethic. But you know, after we left the field, he went into the clubhouse, and the players were all giving him a standing ovation. And they had his music on as he entered, and then he said, "Turn the music off," and he stood there and he talked to the players, you know, at a very high vocal voice that told the players about when you walk through that clubhouse door every day, you leave your ego at the door. And he said, "You're playing for that logo that's on the floor, the Brewers logo. And you come to work every day and prepare to give it your best. And you never give up, and you try to have the longest career you can have." And he went on and on, and he thanked his teammates for supporting him and backing him and not giving up. And he wasn't going to quit. So, you know, I came out of there, and you know, I was very emotional, and I'm big into Westerns and that, and I said, geez, I just saw John Wayne, you know, and I said later on, I wished I could have had all 160 or 70 minor league players in our organization in the clubhouse that night. And then I said, you know what? It'd be good if Major League Baseball, if he could have done that in front of all the top good young players today, because it means so much. And for me to hear it, been in the game as long as I've been, you know, it's such an impact on the players on how you come to work and what it means to come to work and what it means to put on the uniform. used to be a privilege to play Major League Baseball, and we got to get that back.
Right.
We got to get that back. And it's a privilege to play Major League Baseball and put a uniform on. And sometimes it slips away from us. And I don't want to get into the reasons why, but sometimes it slips away from us. And Trevor Hoffman, he recognizes that it's a privilege every day you walk through that locker room door and have the opportunity to play baseball.
And what a great guy to have out in your bullpen every night. You got a relatively young bullpen out there, and not a better guy that you'd like to have out there, showing him the ropes.
Yeah, he's, even, you can always judge people when things are going good. That's the easiest time to judge people. When things aren't going very well, that's when the true color and the character comes out of an individual. And when things weren't going well for Trevor earlier on in the year, he never once came to me and said, Doug, I'd like to get that closing spot back. He never once had his agent call me and said, Doug, I'd like to make sure I can get that 600 saves. He never went to Maka with it. He was going to earn it. He was going to earn it. He was not going to have us just put him out there and that. And he went and had 20-some appearances, to show everybody that he's going to earn an opportunity to get to 600. And that's the kind of person he is. He wasn't going to allow you to put 2 outs and have him come in and get a 1-out save. That wasn't going to happen. But that's the part, because in this day and age, a lot of times I do get calls from agents about players when my guy's not playing, or that kind of thing. Never happened with Trevor. He was going to earn every one of those 600 saves. He's earned it.
And at 42 years of age, who knows when his last pitch will be? So as he's pitching in non-save situations, that his career could have ended at any moment. But he knew that's what he had to do to get back to the role where we saw him last night. Well, it certainly was a great moment. Moving forward now, and I know you're always looking for teaching opportunities. What are you seeing with your club, what you've assembled here? You've got a month to go, or less than a month, and then you start preparing for 2011. What are you looking for the rest of the way here, Doug?
Well, I still want to play good fundamental baseball, and there's times it's gotten away from us. And, obviously pitching and seeing Chris Capuano out there, seeing how deep he can go into games. And Chris Narveson has pitched much better. He's got 11 wins for us now. And up the middle, when you look and you see Jonathan LaCroix and Alcides and Lorenzo Cain, 3 guys, the young players that we're very high on. We think they can get better, and Carlos Gomez, and that we're a very athletic club. Positional wise, we look like we're pretty well set. If we go back with this lineup is going to score runs, and that. So obviously we'll be looking to see if we can add depth to our pitching or add some front line pitching. Randy Wolf's pitched much better. Giovanni got off track here the other day, and then back on the track again with a good outing.
Weeks takes off. He'll steal that one easily. Ricky Weeks having a career year, and he steals second base.
So we're out there still trying to win ball games and still trying to give the younger players that kind of experience. So we got to get back in the winning mode and doing the things it takes to win games. And some of these games have slipped away, and it's maybe it's not an excuse, but it seemed like every time there's a bad play by us or a play we didn't execute, that it led to something bigger, and you can't have that happen. And good teams don't allow that to happen. And I can go back to the game, we're in Cincinnati, where Escobar made the nice plays, and he threw it to Casey, and he missed the tag on Cairo rounding third. It could have been a 1-1 ball game, and those things happen. But the next time we were down 6-1. Same thing with the play in Philadelphia. So there's usually one little incident that causes the issue, and the big inning has been a big problem for us. You just can't have 4- and 5-run innings in that. So we got to execute better on the offensive side at times. I don't ever blame any one part of your ball club, because there's going to be 2 or 3 ball clubs that aren't going to postseason, and they're going to have quality pitching and not have offense and that. So if you look at our overall ball club, you can say, yeah, we need to do better pitching. We need to catch the ball maybe better so the pitching can better, and we need to score in every opportunity we get a chance to score to help the pitching. So it all has to blend together, and to have a winning type team. But we got to come to the park every day with the attitude to win and just not play the game.
Got to be happy with the back end of your bullpen, though. I mean, John Axford and Braddock. I mean, these guys, Cameron Lowe, they've been throwing the baseball tremendous.
Yeah, and we brought up Jeremy Jeffers here, who's got a very good arm, has shown good poise, nice delivery, and And, you know, we'll make a decision in the off season. Jeremy's going to go to the fall league. Do we want him to start? Do we want him to pitch out of the bullpen? And that. So we do have some good young arms. Brandon Kinsler's out there now. I'm looking forward to seeing Brandon. He's a 92, 94 mile an hour guy that throws strikes. Mark Rogers is in town here. Another guy that had the third lowest batting average against, a power arm, first round pick for us. Hit .210 against him all year in the minor leagues. His whip, his walks and hits was 1.3. He does walk a little more than he wants to, but with the power type arm, you hope that those can change. I remember Tim Belcher one year walked 120 or 125 or something in the minor leagues in Double-A, and the next year went to the big leagues, walked 60-some players. Yeah. So the experience that I think that the younger guys like a Jefferson, that Kinsler will get here is the same experience that John Axford got last September.
Visiting with Doug Melvin, Brewers general manager. As we play in the third, Ryan Braun with a chance to tie it up here. Albert Pujols homered for the Cardinals in the first, and Braun is up there with 2 away. Well, of your established major league stars, you're looking at guys like Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, Casey McGee, with career years from these three. And Ricky Weeks is finally healthy and having the kind of year I think you'd always hoped he'd have in a Brewers uniform.
Yeah, he's really developed this year. And we've always said, give Ricky 500 and some at bats, and then you get the true numbers. And he's never had that up until this year. And we are getting some pretty impressive numbers. Corey's having a big year. You know, after a little bit of shaky spring training. There we go.
There's a base hit, and here comes Weeks. The stolen base is going to pay off as Ryan Braun drives in Weeks, and we are tied at 1. Braun with his 81st RBI. He's really been swinging a hot bat lately, and this game is all square in the third inning.
And Doug, he's digging his nose in that outside corner, going up the middle into the opposite field. Last month or so, it's been very good for Ryan.
Yeah, he's hit the ball well up the middle, and you know he's those balls he hits, the ground balls up the middle, he hits them with authority too. So you know, we got Casey McGee, his second in the National League with hits with runners in scoring position. I think he's got 70 something, only behind Loney. The one that surprised me was Alcides Escobar is 14th in the National League with hits with runners in scoring position.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got as many. I think he's one under Matt Holliday now for hits with runners in scoring position.
So you got to give us those scouting reports so we can talk about that stuff.
That's good TV fodder.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, maybe we should be hitting them cleanup. I don't know. And what the talk shows will want him batting fourth now, and
run that one by the skipper.
Run that one by Prince. See what he thinks.
That's right. Of course, Fielder and his status with the Brewers will be the big news this offseason. As Fielder bats with Braun at first. And how do you approach Prince Fielder, his contract, the offseason, the talk of trade? How do you deal with that as a GM moving into the offseason?
Well, we'll sit down and evaluate our entire ball club. We'll get our baseball people together, our scouts front office. Mark will have input, obviously, and make a determination. And that, as I said, I've always have to be open to anything. We have to be creative at times, but Prince is having in a good year when you look at his on base of 408 and his 30 homers, and I think he's his RBIs are down obviously from last year, both he and Ryan. But they did have such big years last year, to expect them to go out there and have those same kind of years. Those were monster years that they had. And the one thing that these guys do, though, they're out there playing every day.
And Fielder does that pretty well as it bounces up and out of here. That's going to cost the Brewers a run. So it'll be a ground rule double. Fielder smokes one over the head of Rasmus. And they're going to send Braun back to third. 2 bases from where you started on the ground rule double. And a bad break for Milwaukee, as a matter of fact.
I think the one thing with our team is, and it's been that way since I've been here, whether Ken was managing or Ned Yost, they've always played in September, and I think that's a credit to Reed Nichols, our player development guys, but also to these players. That's the kind of players that Prince and Ryan and them are. And some people say, geez, you're drawing 30-some thousand people still. And it's so important if you're not in the race that you're still playing the game hard. I don't see it, and I've seen it in my career somewhere where I've had a team that, looked very lethargic in September. They were looking at next year. They were talking about the you know, what with their football teams and everything else. These guys come to the park and they work out. They were out here today at 2 o'clock and 2:30 early hitting. And Sandy Guerrero's up here throwing BP to guys. And I think our fans, and I appreciate the fans coming out, but that's one of the reasons I do believe they come out, too, is because we got players that aren't just going to throw in the towel. They're looking to go out there and still play good, hard baseball.
No, and you have players that are on your team that if the guys aren't putting out there, but I think that, you know, guys like Trevor and Prince are going to say something.
Yeah, there's guys that'll they'll speak up. They're not afraid, and sometimes players have to do that.
That's into left field, a base hit. Braun scores. Here comes Fielder. The throw is late. 2 runs driven in for McGee. Boy, what a season he's had. Another 2 RBIs for Casey McGee. That gives him 92. And he gives the Brewers the lead 3-1 here in the 3rd inning.
Well, 2-out rallies have been big on his homestand so far. A lot of runs in yesterday's ball game. Jaime Garcia with 2 outs. Gives up 3 consecutive base hits. And this one just sneaks into left field, and very aggressive coaching by Brad Fisher, and Prince Fielder able to score.
Casey has been so good with the men on base. You know, Bill, you and I have talked about how he uses the whole field, and he snuck that one through the 6th hole. And but he has a great approach to hitting. He studies the pitchers. He studies hitting.
As Lorenzo Cain bounces out. Good inning, Doug. Nice work. 3 runs for the general manager.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate your time. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
That is general manager Doug Melvin. Casey McGee driving in 2 more. The Brewers with the lead.
Earlier tonight, Ricky Weeks was honored as the Brewers nominee for the prestigious Roberto Clemente Award. Weeks is one of the 30 club nominees who are finalists for the National Award, which is given annually to the Major League Baseball player who combines a dedication to giving back to the community with outstanding skills on the baseball field as well. Tonight marks the 9th annual Roberto Clemente Day, which was established by Major League Baseball to honor Clemente's legacy and to officially recognize local club nominees of the Roberto Clemente Award. Brian?
All right, Telly, thanks. And it's a great honor. And Ricky Weeks is certainly proud to be one of the honorees. And he'll have a chance at that Roberto Clemente Award. Roberto Clemente tragically passing away on a mission trip to Nicaragua. And good for Ricky Weeks. As Rasmus drops one in front of Braun. A base hit for the Cardinals. Now Roberto died in a plane crash New Year's Eve of 1972 while attempting to deliver supplies to earthquake victims in Nicaragua. And this Roberto Clemente Award pays tribute to his achievements and his great character. Not just one of the greatest players of all time, but great off the field as well, and he certainly had a lasting impact, so much so that each year we recognize Roberto Clemente, and the players proud to be associated with this award, and good for Ricky Weeks to be involved in this project. And you can vote. You can go to Chevy.com/Clemente, and you can vote for Ricky Weeks. 30 club nominees are involved. Ricky is the Brewers winner, so we ask you to go to Chevy.com and help push Ricky across the finish line. He certainly deserves it with all of his work with diabetes and all the various charities he's involved with.
And the players take that award seriously. They're very proud when they're honored by their team, and certainly the ultimate winner, at the end of the season. Roberto Clemente died with exactly 3,000 base hits.
And his name is still used in scout terms. And if you talk to a scout and he has scouted an outfielder and he says he's got a great arm, you say, is it a Clemente arm? Not quite a Clemente arm. There's never been a Clemente arm, right?
Only one.
15 times an All-Star, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and Brock mentioned his 3,000 hits, but he amassed those 3,000 hits while hitting at a .317 clip for his career. So it wasn't so much longevity for Clemente. He had the longevity to go with the success at the plate to collect those 3,000 hits. Anytime you hit over 300 for a career in the major leagues, you've done something special.
Especially back in those days.
Albert Pujols has been a finalist for the Clemente Award, representing the St. Louis Cardinals in the past. Pujols homered in the first inning. It's always the challenging part of the lineup to get through for a pitcher, to get through Pujols and Holiday. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Pujols. Got in on his hands. He clips Lucroy on his follow through. McGee makes a catch. Boy, Jonathan Lucroy took a shot from Albert Pujols.
Now, Chris Capuano just literally eats him alive inside and knocks Lucroy's mask off. I'm not sure if Albert even said anything as he went by. I didn't see anything. Not that he has to, but that's why you wear a helmet back there behind home plate.
And there was a day when Bill Schroeder didn't wear a helmet behind the plate.
Yep. Cliff Johnson did that exact thing to me. I was wearing a cloth cap. Next inning, I had a helmet on.
Which explains a lot.
Right.
They don't call him the Rock for nothing.
Got a little dent on the left side of my head.
Which dent are you referring to?
That's why I really don't have a part in my hair. I just slick it back.
Holiday takes a strike.
Yeah, which dent is right. When I came up with the Brewers in '83, Ted Simmons, Ned Yost, Charlie Moore all wore the cloth cap behind home plate.
What were you supposed to do?
Down in the minor leagues, I'm wearing a helmet because you had to back then.
Right.
So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to catch with a helmet. You have my masculinity questioned. The answer is no.
Yeah, that's the part you got to get over, right?
Leave your ego at the door. That's what Trevor's talking about.
That's what Trevor said. I think they should paint that on the wall in the clubhouse. Matter of fact, I might take a Sharpie down there tonight and write that in. Sure, it'd go over well. Maybe in the doorway of the booth here, we could write that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of ego in this booth.
A ball and a strike on Holiday. And that one's in the air. Fielder backpedaling. And he wants it. Brents makes a catch. Galloping backwards to make that catch for out number 2. Our AT&T trivia question has to do with guess who? Trevor Hoffman And who did he pass to become baseball's all-time saves leader? Good question. We'll give you a hint. It occurred in 2006. September of 2006. As Tony La Russa has spotted something down the right field line he wants to get rid of. Oh, it's a baseball. Those good eyes by Tony La Russa.
Nothing gets by Tony.
Of course, the next step, the conspiracy theorists would say he put it there. Somehow.
Right.
Telepathically, he dropped that baseball there. That's a good catch. Certainly don't want to get anybody injured. And there are a lot of baseballs that end up right down that line and right. Nick Stavinoa with 2 outs. Capuano has gotten through Pujols and Holiday after a leadoff single. Don't want to let your guard down here. Stavinoa, a strikeout victim in the second. On the ground to short. Escobar to second base, and the inning is over. Good inning for Capuano. He's gone through 4 innings, just 1 run, and the Brewers lead 3-1. It was Pujols homering to get the Brewers started, or get the Cardinals started, I should say. But then Milwaukee with 3 runs in the 3rd inning. And it was Braun and McGee with the RBIs. And all 3 runs coming in with 2 away. There were 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs in that 3rd inning from the middle of the Brewers batting order. So 3-1. Casey McGee now 92 RBIs. And he is on his trek to 100. Speaking of milestones, that would be some kind of milestone. Not just for Casey McGee, but for the franchise. As Escobar slices one right center, that's down for a hit. Alcides Escobar with a base hit and a leadoff base runner here in the 4th. Our AT&T trivia question: who did Trevor Hoffman pass to become the all-time saves leader? And it was Big Lee Smith, September 24th of 2006 against the Pittsburgh Pirates, number 479. So you think about this, Rock, since September of 06, September 24th, every save that Hoffman has achieved has been a brand new record.
Yeah. Lee Smith was a good one. Boy, he could throw hard. The opposite of Todd Coffey coming into the game.
Took his time coming in.
It took Lee Smith a good 30 seconds to get in, maybe longer. I mean, he not only walked, it was like he was in a wedding procession.
That's great. The anti-Todd Coffey. Speaking of sprinting from the bullpen, how about that scene last night? Yeah. After Trevor saved the game, and those guys in the bullpen, they were racing each other to get to Hoffman, who was between the mound and the first baseline. I mean, they were all Todd Coffey's running in last night.
It was a load off of everybody's mind in the organization to see Trevor get that 600 save. You could just feel everybody breathe a sigh of relief. And, Trevor Hoffman, now as hard as he worked to get that 600 save this year, the ups and downs, it was tough on the organization as well.
Now, Brandon Kinsler was one of those sprinting in from the bullpen. His first day as a Brewer. We got a chance to catch up with him about his thoughts.
I remember watching him when I was a kid at a Padres game, and then now I'm about to watch him my first day in the big leagues. I mean, I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I told him that in the locker room. It was awesome.
You think it's all downhill from here?
No. But I don't think there's a lot of games that won't top that one. I mean, you got fans getting ejected from the umpires and stuff. So, but I mean, it's just amazing. I'll always remember it.
And we're anxious to tell Brandon Kinsler's story when we see him pitch for the first time. He's got quite a story of perseverance as well. And Telly Hughes visiting with Kinsler before the game today. He and Jeremy Jeffress getting to witness a little history early in their big league careers. And look at this bullpen coming in. Braddock leading the charge. Those guys sprinting in. They could not wait to get to Trevor Hoffman. One of the great scenes. We want to pass along a lot of credit to our crew in the truck, Chris Withers and Michael Odino, our great camera operators, presenting these indelible images. These are going to be images you'll see for a long time here at Miller Park, and just bringing us great pictures and sounds from our audio crew. Good fun at the old ballpark last night for sure, and what a moment it was. Capuano trying to bunt, and he bunts it foul. That'll be a strikeout for Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, who says there's nothing to play for in September when you're 10 games under 500, right? Not a reason to come to the ballpark, and last night, certainly one of the best. That's a night that I'll never forget, that's for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate the access as well. The Brewers are good about allowing our cameras in the spots and bringing interviews to you and all the commentary from the players. And if you didn't catch Brewers Live pregame today, Telly Hughes interviewing Trevor Hoffman, and guys and gals in the truck put together a rip of sound with thoughts from the players last night. Trevor was actually moved to tears doing our pregame show. So players don't often get to hear what other players say about them, right? And they're usually not interested. But we actually forced Trevor to sit there and take it like a man today.
Yeah, he was able to pull things together until he saw his brother up there on the screen. And brother Glenn, third base coach with the Padres, giving his congratulations.
And we asked Glenn at the time, we said, no, if he doesn't get to 600, of course, we won't play it. We'll burn it. He goes, he'll get there.
Didn't bat an eye.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew it. Down in the dirt. Yeah, this is the scene of the pregame show. We were keeping an eye on Trevor, and the guys had that kind of impact, and then the players got a chance to have an impact on him. So it's a good moment earlier today, and we appreciate Trevor letting us visit with him today. He's done about 1,000 interviews in the last 16, 18 hours.
Yeah, they don't come much better than Trevor Hoffman. You're talking about, to fans, to an organization. Trevor willing to do just about anything the organization asked in the community. Players. I mean, he's one of those old school guys that he'll go out and buy the whole bullpen dinner. Buy a young kid that's coming up and just come up in a ragged old suit. He'll buy him a new suit on the road. That's the way it used to be in the old days.
Ricky Weeks draws the walk, so maybe some more two-out magic for the Brewers here in the fourth.
Of course, with the signing bonuses these days, not too many young kids come up with ragged old suits.
That's right. They come to town in Armani's these days.
Yeah.
Here is Corey Hart. Trevor was also kind enough to sign some of the memorabilia items that are available. The lithographs, the posters, and the great T-shirts. I see you got your T-shirt, Rock. That took no time.
That was taken away from me.
Took no time to get Rock T-shirt, but there's only one. I like those T-shirts.
What are the chances that I could squeeze into a medium?
Well, we'll catch you maybe next spring.
I believe that this might be yours.
I don't think so. We'll leave that. We'll call that product placement for a while.
Nice T-shirt, though.
Yeah, I mean, not to turn it into a sales bit, but look, it was a part of history. Trevor signed some of these lithographs, and they're available. There are 51 copies autographed and numbered by Trevor Hoffman. Get it? 51?
51, I got it. That's his number.
That's right. There's also 60 additional lithographs that are not autographed. So, you know, that's a way to say, you know, I was there. I was a part of it. Two balls, two strikes on Corey Hart. Runners at first and second. See if the Brewers can cash in here. 3-1 is the lead. Runners go. At least Escobar does, and that's a base hit. Plays a little hopscotch with that base hit by Hart, and it's 4-1 Milwaukee. A little surprising that Escobar took off. But he kept his head on the baseball, and he was able to avoid the line drive, and it's a base hit. And Corey Hart has his 89th RBI.
Well, yet again, another two-out base hit for the Brewers. All four of their runs have come with two outs. And Jaime Garcia has given up 4 runs in the first 4 innings.
It's only the 4th time all season that Garcia has given up more than 3 runs in a start. Kind of feeling like that might be a good instructional. You and Davey, you know, I'll come out there. We'll hit some line drives. You guys try to jump out of the way.
Jump out of the way, yeah. Sounds like fun. You know, Davey still has a bad ankle.
He jumped with one leg.
If he gets hit, that's just a risk you have to take.
That's just part of the dangers of the position. You know, he signed up. He signed up to be the post-game analyst. We'll work on that. .72 pitches already for Garcia. And when the Cardinals needed a big start from their rookie hurler, who has been outstanding all year, he has given up a 4 spot. And now Braun a chance to add to it. Again, all of the runs coming with 2 outs in this game. It is maddening for a pitcher and his manager. Braun into left center field. That is way back there. Rasmus at the wall, and it's gone. Ryan Braun with a 3-run home run. He just kept traveling. And Braun with his 20th home run of the year. 7-1 Milwaukee.
Well, season high in runs allowed for Jaime Garcia. It had been 5. How about Ryan Braun? Changeup. Stayed back nicely, got under it, but able to sneak it over that center field wall. And still more 2-out production by the Brewers.
All 7 runs with 2 away, and now 5 players with 20 or more home runs this season. Braun becomes the 5th. And he keeps moving up this list. He is now 9th all time, most home runs in his first 4 seasons. Ralph Kiner leads. Pujols is 2nd. Some great names on that list. Something else, huh?
Yeah.
And Ryan Braun is the 9th on a very impressive list. Those who are still active, some of the great sluggers in the game, those who are not in the Hall of Fame. Fielder pops it up. Foul territory. It's Pujols who makes the catch. And the inning is over, but not before the Brewers and Ryan Braun do damage. Braun with the exclamation point. A high, towering fly ball that finds its way over the fence. Number 20 for Ryan. Ryan Braun joins the group. 20 or more home runs. There are now 5 for the Brewers. Powerball home run leaderboard. Fielder leads away with 30. Braun in there with 20 now. And Braun's home run caps off a 4-run 4th inning. All 4 runs coming with 2 outs, and all 7 tonight with 2 away. 7-1 Milwaukee. Pedro Feliz leads off. Capuano has given up just 2 Cardinal hits. A single to Colby Rasmus and a home run to Pujols. It is only the 4th time in franchise history that the Brewers have had 5 players with 20 or more home runs in a season. A franchise that goes back to 1969, the first year in Milwaukee, 1970. But the first time it was done, you know the answer to this already. The Wallbangers of '82. Our U.S. Cellular text to vote question for the week. What is the best division race in the final month of the season? We want to hear from you, get your opinions. And you can send the corresponding letter to the short code 234234. W for the NL West, X for the NL East, Y for the AL East, Z for the AL Central. All courtesy of U.S. Cellular. It's interesting when you look at the home run numbers, Rock, that the 1982 team had 5 players with over 20 homers. Gorman Thomas, Ben Ogilvy, Cecil Cooper, Robin Yount, and Ted Simmons. And then there was not a team that had 5 players with 20 or more until '07. And now it's been done for the third time in the last 4 years. 07, 08, and now in 2010.
That's a lot of home runs. I mean, you know, back when Harvey's wall bangers were doing that, I mean, a 20 home run season was considered to be a lot of home runs. Not so much anymore.
Well, it's no surprise that Fielder and Braun and Corey Hart have been a part of all three in the current decade.
And with all due respect to the current Brew Crew, they are hitting in a ballpark that is much easier to hit a ball out of the ballpark. I mean, County Stadium at night in particular, in April, May, and September, you had to hit them, get it all. Not a very easy ballpark to hit home runs, especially when that wind blew in off the lake.
Well, in '82, Gorman Thomas led the group of 5 with 39 homers. And then you were reminiscing about Fielder's 50 home run season. That was 07. Braun led the group in 08 with 37. So we'll see where it ends up this year. Right now, Fielder leads with 30. Power plays and power pays in this game of baseball, both on the mound and at the plate. Fielder, a chance here in front of the dugout, makes a catch. So a 2-men are out. Now just 2 more weekends left to catch the Brewers here at home. This weekend, the Cubs visit. Tickets are going fast. You can call 414-902-4000 to be a part of it, or visit Brewers.com for tickets. And we want to say hello to Chad Olson. He's the ticket manager down in the ticket office.
Megan, his wife, newly married. Got married on Sunday.
So welcome to the family, Megan.
Yeah.
Chad's been selling tickets and doing a great job down there. And he and Megan, newlyweds. Hopefully a honeymoon is coming up shortly. At least a post-baseball season honeymoon.
At least he didn't ask for a day off, to get married. He waited for a road trip.
That's a good point.
You can't take days off during the season.
He's a gamer. And apparently Megan is too. Escobar, can he finish it off? The throw! And Fielder cannot dig it. That was a tough hop for Fielder to handle. Throw just off the mark. That certainly would have gone on the highlight reel for Alcides Escobar.
Well, he got there, and he had the catcher running, giving an opportunity. It'll be a base hit and an error. An unfortunate error for Alcides Escobar. And an error that most shortstops would not have the opportunity to make because they wouldn't have been able to get to the baseball. He short-hopped Prince on purpose, but Prince not able to handle the throw.
Boy, what range he has at short. And an unfortunate error for Pagnazzi, by the way, his first major league hit. So a milestone for Pagnazzi as they throw the ball out for his trophy case. Pinch hitter is Felipe Lopez. Jaime Garcia out after 4 innings, his worst start of the season. Most runs Garcia has allowed all year.
Well, and all coming with 2 outs. The Brewers able to extend innings, and 2 of those innings, a walk to Ricky Weeks has kept it going.
Ball and no strikes on Felipe Lopez. And he pops it up. Fielder wants it. Capuano is out of the inning. 7-1 Milwaukee. The Brewers are coming to bat. McGee will lead off. By the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. And by GMC. We are professional grade.
And tonight's Tower of the Game winner is Doubledays in Cottage Grove if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. Doubledays gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2010 or 2011 April and May Milwaukee Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
7-1, the Brewers lead the St. Louis Cardinals in the final game of this series. And the new pitcher, Rock, is Mike McDougall in relief of Jaime Garcia.
One of the September call-ups. Actually, no, McDougall was on the roster for a while. He had a miserable outing on August 28th against the Nationals. He threw an inning and 2/3, gave up 6 earned runs, which is why you see that earned run average at where it is.
So McDougall to face Casey McGee. McGee with 2 RBIs in his last at-bat back in the 3rd inning. And 92 driven in now. And it's interesting that no third baseman in franchise history has driven in 100 runs. Casey McGee has a chance to be the first. That surprised me a little bit.
Right.
Mike Faulkner coming up with that little nugget. Ryan Braun is the closest when he was a third baseman. And if you don't know the story, Braun came up as a third baseman before he was moved to the outfield in 07. Braun drove in 97. But there has not been a third baseman in the history of the Brewers franchise to drive in triple digits. And McGee is right there with a chance to do it. One ball, 2 strikes on McGee. Casey had a big night last night. He was a big part of the win and the historic save for Hoffman. McGee's always had good numbers against the Cardinals. Hitting at a .353 clip against St. Louis. Played by Feliz, and the throw is in time for out number 1. Say after most Sunday Brewers home games, kids 16 and under can run the bases at Miller Park. Compliments of great clips. For ticket information, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com. On Roberto Clemente Day here in Major League Baseball, honoring the legacy and legend of Roberto Clemente. Lorenzo Cain takes a strike from McDougall. Cain is 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs to third base. St. Louis starts the day 6 back of the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central. And the Cardinals in the wild card race are 5.5 back, but they are behind the Rockies, the Giants, and now the wild card leader is the Atlanta Braves. After the Phillies overtook the Braves in the National League East. Philadelphia with a half-game lead over Atlanta to start play today. And believe it or not, the Phillies, the first National League team to 80 wins after all they've been through this year.
all the injuries that they've had. And one thing you say about Philadelphia, that pitching staff has been intact, at least that starting rotation. And Roy Oswald has not hurt him too much.
That was a big pickup for the Phillies. Kane again to third. This time it gets by Feliz and a base hit. He's been wearing out the hot corner tonight. He finally delivers with a base hit. And the Brewers with a runner on base in the 5th with one away.
Well, that slider was middle in up in the strike zone, and Lorenzo able to just find its way out of the reach of Pedro Feliz, who has been a busy man tonight. He's got 5 assists. He's got 5 ground balls and a couple of near misses.
Now Escobar, who's singled and scored in the 4th. He started the 4th inning with a base hit and started a 4-run inning. Kane takes off. Throw to second is late. And another stolen base for the Brewers. Kane joins Weeks with steals in this game.
Lorenzo Kane does not stay at first base very long. I mean, this guy has got very good instincts out there. Number 6 for Lorenzo. And he gets to full speed very quickly. And no contest.
He stole 26 bases in the minor leagues, caught only 3 times, then caught only once in the big leagues. He's 6 for 7. And you wouldn't put it past him to make a run at third base either here. He's been known to try to swipe third base. Escobar and an RBI opportunity in the 5th. Just checking some scores from around the National League. The Phillies are leading Florida. We're talking about the Phillies, and they're up big on the Marlins, 10-3 in the 8th inning. Gabby Sanchez is homered for Florida. He's making a run at a Rookie of the Year, perhaps. Ryan Howard is homered for the Phillies, number 28.
Well, Sanchez certainly has the clothesline of the year on Niger Morgan in that fight.
The takedown off the ropes.
Could have taken Morgan's head off.
Only thing that was missing was the metal chair and the honky-tonk man. Escobar on the right, pretty well hit. Back is Stabenoa. Kane is going to tag. And he'll make it to third. About 2 men are out for the Brewers in the 5th. Well, you can join the Bucks players, alumni, and coaches on Monday, September 20th at Ozaki Country Club for the Milwaukee Bucks Golf Tournament to benefit cystic fibrosis. It's an 18-hole scramble. It begins at noon, ends with a post-golf dinner reception and silent auction. Plus, there's a Q&A with Bucks General Manager John Hammond. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the events banner for more details. Jonathan Lucroy with 2 away. Elsewhere in the National League, the Rockies are hot, and they're back at it again. They lead the Reds 5-1. Colorado has won 5 straight, and they are within 4.5 of the division behind the Padres and 4.5 in the wild card behind the Braves. We kept waiting for a run from the Rockies. They look like too good a team to be where they were in the standings, and as the San Diego Padres fell back after that 10-game losing streak, the Rockies got hot. Colorado is now 10 games over 500 for the year.
Yeah, they're playing well. 45-22 are Colorado at home.
Bouncing ball up the middle, gloved by Ryan. He spins, he fires, and it's in time. What a play that was. The Cardinals shortstop Brendan Ryan with something special to end the inning, robbing Lucroy of a base hit and an RBI. a $300 off coupon, good towards the purchase of a Generac home standby generator. Compliments of Generac Power Systems. Beautiful Miller Park on a cool Wednesday night. The roof is closed tonight. It's cloudy out. Temperatures are dipping down into the 50s tonight. Touch of fall in the air.
Get the quilts out.
We'll be shoveling snow before you know it. Not you, of course. You'll be watching people shovel snow. But the rest of us will be shoveling snow. All right. A lot of bees there. Very good alliteration. All right. Nicely done. He's got a pink hat on. 7-1 Milwaukee. And Tyler Green leads off, top of the Cardinal order. Oh, look at this play by McGee to his feet. And he throws him out. Casey McGee with a sparkling play at third base.
Boy, how about those infield plays back to back? Nice play by Brendan Ryan to get Luke Croy and Casey McGee. And nice backhand stab and able to get him on the throw to first base.
He has shown a good glove this year to go along with his big bat, hampered by a knee injury that required surgery last year. He show up at spring training this year in Arizona. Casey, what a great year you had last year. You know, congratulations. He goes, I played terrible defensively. I'm embarrassed by my defense. And he has showed why that. Maybe that knee injury limited him a little more than we thought.
Yeah, much better mobility this year, no doubt about that.
Rasmus is 1 for 2 against Capuano, who is quietly mowing down the St. Louis Cardinals. He's working on a 3-hitter. Only run he allowed was a Pujols home run in the first inning. A home run and 2 singles. Rasmus singled to left in the 4th and slapped one off the end of the bat. And then Matt Pagnozzi reached on the infield hit in the 5th.
He's got good rhythm. He's getting the baseball and he's getting rid of it quickly. He and Luke Croy have been on the same page all night.
Another one off the end of the bat. Escobar, much easier chance, and 2 away in the 6th inning.
Now we talk about this stretch through this starting rotation. You have to give a little bit of props to the catching corps. Jonathan Lucroy and George Kataris. You know, both of them doing a nice job. Nothing a pitcher hates worse or hates more than having to shake off one after the other. And, you know, Capuano has been in good rhythm all night.
Thanks to his catcher.
Got to give him some credit.
Spoken like a true catcher. The underestimated captain of the Diamond.
Jonathan Lucroy, a rookie, and what's George got? A year under his belt before this year?
Yeah, hardly. And all of those starts for Kataris, most of them anyway. Last year with Boston, he caught Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of experience back there, and they've done a nice job.
Here's the 1-1. Pujols takes a ball. It's amazing how much control a catcher has with tempo of the game. You know, a pitcher obviously controls the tempo ultimately, but a catcher can be a big part of that. Just by the way he returns the ball to the mound, or by the way he calls the game, as you mentioned, the pace of the game, knowing the game plan, being in sync with his starting pitcher.
Bouncing around a little bit, you know, ball gets away, you go get it quickly and you fire it back to the pitcher. It's all about that body language behind home plate. I mean, it really rubs off on the pitcher.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Pujols with 2 away. Lucroy setting up inside, and Pujols fouls it away. Holiday would be next. Capuano was able to jam Pujols last time up. A little pop up to third. Coming in there again. Pujols doesn't miss this one. That is fair down the left field line. Braun picks it up. Pujols on his way to second with a double. Amazing that he's able to keep that ball fair.
Yeah. I mean, you can't come in there too often with Albert. I mean, get away with it once. Able to pop him up, but watch how quick his hands are inside. That ball out over the plate just enough. Able to keep it fair, leaves with the hands, and just tucks it inside that left field line. Just an excellent hitter that covers both sides of the plate very well. In and out, up and down, all speeds. Never really seems ever to be off balance.
And one of only a handful of big league hitters that can keep that particular pitch fair. Most hitters pull that one foul with a lot of hook on it. And it all has to do with the swing of Albert Pujols.
Yeah, watch the belt buckle. That's all you got to watch here. Watch how that belt buckle opens up, and that leads the bat through the strike zone. The hands lead the barrel of the bat. That's how you keep that ball fair. That's a tough thing to learn.
Well, if there's a swing you want to put in your memory bank forever, that's the one. It's about as pure as it gets, Albert Pujols. Who has the ability to hit for a high average, hit some of the longest home runs you'll ever see.
And one of the best ever. One of the best ever in this game. Let's face it. There aren't too many like him.
Now, he is now 2 RBIs away from a 100 RBI season, which would be his 10th consecutive 100 RBI season. Now that is some major production.
If he quits right now, he's in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't need to do anything else. He's in.
And he's got at least a decade if he stays healthy, maybe more. You figure Albert Pujols is the kind of guy that, you know, a lot like how Manny Ramirez is still a threat in the lineup in his late 30s. Pujols is one of those guys. As long as he stays healthy, could be a threat over in the American League when he's, you know, done playing a position for a long time. Look what Jim Tomei's doing, right, for the Minnesota Twins. Holiday swings and misses. Down he goes on strikes. And the side retired. Capuano is pitching a gem here tonight. He's given up just 1 run to the Cardinals. 7-1 Brewers.
Of accomplishments that you've done and been also to get to this 600 is quite an achievement. But we love you, enjoy it. I know we're thinking of you and we're there with you.
Yeah, you're just looking for your big brother's approval, man. You know, both my brothers have been instrumental in my career. Glenn obviously has been an example of what it's meant to be a big leaguer and be a pro. And then to hear those words facilitated through my oldest brother, and who really shaped Glenn into the person he is on the field as well. To put all that together, I was very lucky to have the examples that they were able to show me. And
that was from earlier today. Trevor Hoffman joined us on Brewers Live pregame, and we were able to capture that video of Glenn Hoffman, who's the third base coach of the San Diego Padres and a former major leaguer and a former teammate of yours.
Yep, California Angels in '89 and '90. Played with the Boston Red Sox. Good guy, Glenn Hoffman.
Yeah, he was an infielder. Kind of came up on the corners, third baseman, first baseman, played a little shortstop in the big leagues as well. Broke in with Boston, did Glenn. And Trevor Hoffman was a shortstop when he began. Drafted by the Reds. And patterned after his older brother Glenn. Thinking he might have the same kind of success. He could maybe be a utility guy, but he just didn't hit. So they converted him to the mound, and the rest is history. And truly history made yesterday. Capuano goes down swinging. Jason Mott strikes out his first batter. Mike McDougall with a scoreless inning, the fifth. And Mott, the hard thrower, with a strikeout to start the sixth inning. Back to the top of the order, Ricky Weeks at the plate, presented by Wendy's. 2 walks. He had a stolen base. That was a key steal in the third inning. It allowed him to score on an infield hit, or on a single, I should say.
Yeah, Ricky's got 96 runs scored now.
Just what you want your leadoff hitter to do, score runs.
Ryan Braun now with 89 runs scored. You figure he's going to score 100. Prince has a chance too.
Only Albert Pujols has scored more runs than Ricky Weeks. Pujols has 97. He leads the National League. Weeks with 96. Braun's inside the top 10 as well. Trevor was telling a story about his older brother Glenn, who made it to the big leagues in 1980. Trevor, I believe, was 12 or 13 at the time. And when Glenn signed his contract, he was a high round draft pick, Glenn Hoffman, by the Red Sox. As Weeks sends one out to Stavinoa. 2 outs in the inning. Anyway, Trevor was telling the story that in Glenn's contract, when he signed the deal in 1976, he put that if he made it to the big leagues, or part of his contract was his first day in the big leagues, that their dad got the opportunity to sing the national anthem at Fenway Park. So, and he made it to the big leagues, and the Red Sox kept their promise. And teenage Trevor was there. And that had to have been a great moment.
And that was in his contract, huh?
That was in his contract. That
wow.
Mr. Hoffman got the chance to sing the national anthem, a lot like what Mark Adonasio's father Joe does here at Miller Park. It was, except that was kind of a one-time thing, and they always talk about that.
Huh. I never knew that.
What'd you have in your contract when you signed, Rock, for your father?
Not a thing. I didn't feel as though I had the right to put anything in my contract. I didn't know. I didn't know about those types of things.
Well, you got to pay attention. Well, Pete could have been singing the anthem at County Stadium.
Well, he can't sing. He plays the piano, though. Play the piano for the national anthem?
Sure he can. Broken bat, little bouncer over to Feliz. Hart is out. 3 up, 3 down inning for Jason Mott. is presented by Triple Hop Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. And our Miller Lite, what's on tap? The Brewers will take a day off tomorrow, a team day off, and then the Cubs come to town Friday. 3-game series. Note the middle game of that series on WMLW. The other two on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And we hope you'll make plans to be with us. If not, here at the ballpark at Miller Park. We'll see you on the tube.
Yes, Carlos Zambrano and Ryan Dempster, the first two, against Dave Bush and Randy Wolf.
7-1 is our score. Capuano is dealing right now to the St. Louis Cardinals. Facing Nick Stavanoa to lead off the 7th inning. Capuano putting together his best start of the season. Speaking of a player with perseverance, out in front of the plate, Luke Croy spins and fires a strike to Fielder. One away in the 7th inning. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question today comes from Ryan in Marinette. He wants to know who has benefited the most from Trevor Hoffman playing for the Brewers. I'd say me and Ron.
We have enjoyed it.
No, but you'd have to, say Axford. I mean, Axford's the guy who's been closing games.
The pitching staff in general, I think, has benefited the most. And particularly the bullpen, you would figure.
Let's face it, there are a lot of closers, especially, established closers in the big leagues, that could have made the scenario down in the bullpen, which occurred this year between Hoffman and Axford, a very uncomfortable one for a rookie.
More of those than there are what Trevor did.
Trevor might be the only one I can think of with this kind of attitude and the credentials where he didn't really need to have that. Doug Melvin was in here earlier telling us at any point Trevor could have said, look, I'm the closer. You hired me to be your closer. But he never did that. Never had his agent call. Never complained. Just worked his way back. And Axford certainly recognizes that. 2 outs in the inning.
Certainly, if John Axford is going to be the closer next year, he will certainly have benefited from having Trevor around this year.
We pointed this out when we hit the air tonight, but just to give you some perspective on Trevor Hoffman's save total at 600, John Axford has 20 saves this year. So if he averages 40 saves year after year, averaging at least 40 saves, he'll hit 600 in the year 2025. That is how impressive Trevor Hoffman's 600 saves is.
And mind-boggling, all the saves. It really is.
And to think that right here in Milwaukee, you've got Trevor Hoffman, the all-time saves leader, and Hank Aaron's 755th career home run. Pretty much on the same property. We're lucky here, aren't we?
Live postgame after the game. And boy, at this point, Chris Capuano, a big story. Just 83 pitches through 7 innings.
Boy, he's really minimized his pitches. Had a great changeup going, but he's been able to pitch ahead in the count and throw strikes.
All right, Cappy on his game soar. The Brewers posting him to a big lead. Big improvement from his last start when he pitched 5 innings and lost a 1-0 ball game. So, Davey and I getting set for Brewers Live postgame. Davey, what do we have for the instructional coming up?
We're going to, we saw that Alcides Escobar stealing third and jumping over a ball hit on the ground, and we're going to show you how to avoid that.
All right, I can hardly wait to see you guys leaping through the infield.
All right.
Hey, guys, Brian and Bill.
Oh, man, that sounds like a pulled hamstring to me. And Rock, what will your role be in the instructional today?
I'm going to introduce Davey and watch him run.
And exit stage right.
Right. David Nelson, take it away.
So I'm looking over here to my right, and Lorraine is. Say hi, Lorraine. Can you wave at the people?
Wave, Lorraine.
Well, bend down here, let them see you, and then. Now, what is she making up for you, Ron?
Little T. You can tell my voice has been a little hoarse the last couple of days.
Yeah, you know, I noticed that. Pujols makes a nice play. He hits Mott on the run. Braun retired.
And, you know, Lorraine does such a nice job in the media dining room along with Sharon. And got a little mandarin orange flavored tea here. A little honey.
Okay. So it's something hot with some honey.
Right. What was that you dropped in here early in the game? I'm not
I
sure
can't
what that
tell
was, but I'm feeling a little sleepy.
I slipped him a Mickey. Tony La Russa will make a double switch. And we've got a few position players taking their positions. We'll set it all up when we come back. Tony's at work. Win the series from the Cardinals, and it was a big third inning. 3 runs with 2 outs in the third. RBIs from Braun and McGee, and the Brewers are right back at work in the 4th. Corey Hart and Ryan Braun driving in runs. Braun hit a 3-run homer in the 4th inning, capping off a 4-run inning. Speaking of Caps, Chris Capuano, he has been impressive. His best start of the season. He has gone through 7. And he's given up just 4 hits and only 1 run, and that run came in the 1st inning for the St. Louis Cardinals on a Pujols homer.
I mean, think about what Capuano's been able to do in his last 2 starts. Gave a 1 run in 5 innings against Philadelphia, and 1 run here tonight. Outstanding work. 2 runs in 12 innings.
Tony La Russa has made not a double switch, not a triple switch, but a quadruple switch. Pujols takes it to the bag for out number 2.
And there might be another one coming.
As Dennis Reyes retires the left-handed hitting
he's
fielder.
not even going to be in long enough to put the graphic up.
No. All right. Back comes Tony La Russa to the mound.
One of a kind, Tony La Russa.
And here comes Jeff Suppan. Anxious to hear the reaction for Jeff Suppan as he enters Miller Park.
Hi, I'm Mary Yoon with a look at Friday's weather forecast for the Brewers game at Miller Park, where it is going to remain partly cloudy and pleasant. Look out for first pitch temperatures in the 60s with southeasterly winds at 6 to 12 miles per hour.
All right, Mary, thank you. And fans, if you want the Brewers weather forecast from Mary Yoon sent to your cell phone, text keyword forecast to short code 234234 and click on the link. Mary's never wrong, by the way. Casey McGee, who once had aspirations to be a weatherman, against Jeff Suppan with 2 away here in the 7th inning. Suppan, the 5th player used in this game that did not start in this inning for Tony La Russa. Aaron Miles, the new second baseman. Tyler Green goes from second to short, and Randy Wynn is in right field. McGee. Miles gives it a look. Randy Wynn makes a catch. The inning is over. So after all that, a 3-up, 3-down inning. A group with 20 or more home runs this year on our Powerball home run leaderboard. Braun with a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. 20 homers, 83 RBIs now for Ryan Braun. 5 different Brewers with 20 or more homers this season. Manny Parra will take over for Chris Capuano, one lefty to another. And you see the numbers on Manny Parra, who has pitched well out of the bullpen since Capuano took his spot in the rotation.
Yeah, first appearance for Manny in the month of September. Pitched at Cincinnati, 2 scoreless innings against the Reds on August 31st. His last 3 appearances have been in relief. 6 innings, has not allowed a run.
Capuano impressive tonight. His best start of the season. 7 innings, his longest outing of the year. It had been 5. And it took him only 83 pitches, Rock, to go 7 innings. He gives up just 1 run, which came in the first inning.
Yeah, really located well. I mean, the fastball, the changeup, basically, that was pretty much it. I mean, the Cardinals were attacking early, able to keep his pitch count down, and once again, the changeup, very, very good tonight.
Jeremy Jeffress getting loose. It's going to be fun to watch Jeffress at the big league level the rest of the year. Doug Melvin was on the air with us earlier tonight, and he was talking about Jeffress and the need to find out about Jeffress. They pushed him. I mean, there's no doubt. They pushed him. He missed 100 games, violating a minor league substance abuse policy. He was suspended for 100 games. He came back this year, and now the Brewers are in a position where they have to make a decision on Jeffress.
Yep, start him or put him in the bullpen.
And if you're Jeremy Jeffress, hey, nice catch over there. That's how you do it. She brought her A game. See, even in a 7-1 game, everybody's playing hard.
He tried not to smile. There she goes. Come on, you can smile. There you go.
That's just what she does. She says, that's what I do.
Stone-faced.
I make grabs.
I save the patrons in the stands. Nice.
Very calmly.
That saved somebody in the front row some dental work.
Look at the girl in the back. Can you believe she caught that? That would have hit your phone. There's another one. A little out of her reach.
Anything but the phone. I mean, they'd rather get hit in the head than hurt the phone.
Yeah. Look at that. They're texting each other. Oh my God. They're saying we're on TV. OMG.
You hear that at home?
Yeah. Yes, I do, Rock. Matt Pagnazzi. Remember Tom Pagnazzi?
I do.
This is his nephew. Down he goes on strikes. One out for Manny Parra.
Uncle Pagnazzi was a St. Louis Cardinal as well.
Yes, he was.
Right on the inside corner. Good pitch by Manny.
One gone for Parra. And here's Randy Wynn. Out to Escobar. 2 outs. I'm always amazed, you see family members playing the big leagues together. I mean, we've talked about the Hoffman brothers, the Pagnazzis, Prince Fielder and his dad, Cecil. I mean, it's hard enough to make it to the major leagues, but to do it over a couple of generations, or uncles to nephews, or even like the Boones, 3 generations of major league players.
How about father and son on the same team?
The Griffeys.
Yeah. And hitting home runs in the same game.
It's one of the remarkable feats.
That is.
with the Seattle Mariners. I believe that was 1990.
90, yeah.
1990.
Yep. But would you want your dad following you around on the road all year? I mean, think about it.
That's a good point. Well, I guess he has to follow you around on the road if he's hitting behind you in the lineup, or ahead of you as it was.
Kind of cramps your style a bit, doesn't it?
Cramps his style, too. As Hara strikes out Tyler Green. Now 1-2-3 inning. We've seen some great defense. That might be the best catch of the night. Of the series, the Brewers trying to win 2 out of 3. A 3-run third inning and a 4-run fourth inning. RBIs tonight from Corey Hart, Ryan Braun, who had a 3-run homer, Casey McGee. 7-1 Milwaukee as Jeff Suppan is back on the mound. He got the final out of the 7th inning. And he'll have the 8th as Lorenzo Cain sends one to right center. Randy Wynn runs it down. 2 away. The Brewman Group. There's got to be some kind of copyright infringement there on some level. No, this is what I really look like. No, it's not my real skin, I promise. Here, look at this picture. Here's my driver's license.
Yeah.
That's permanent. What a surprise they're going to have when they realize it doesn't come off. Oh, boy. What you see at the ballpark. 2 outs. Better vote now before the Brewman Group does. U.S. Cellular text to vote. The best division race in the final month of the season, in your opinion. And we'll have the update for you, the results, on Brewers Live postgame, and then we'll wrap it all up Sunday on the postgame show. Man, that's just horrible. That is horrible in so many ways. Jonathan Lucroy with 2 out. That one's hit hard left center. A base hit for Lucroy. Had a couple of hits last night, and Lucroy with a base hit tonight.
Yeah, a couple of base hits to right field in last night's ball game. And Suppan got a fastball up and he pulled it into left field. Luke always seems to be able to scratch out a base hit just about every night. Not a guy that strikes out much.
Here's Matt Gamble pinch hitting. Two forces colliding. Got to be careful. You can't raise your arms too fast in that suit. Well, we used to think everything looked better in Foxmo, but I take it back. That looks a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
Three balls and a strike on Matt Gamble. I think Brewers fans are anxious to see the arrival of Gamble and hoping he can contribute at the big league level. He'll have a chance to win a job next year. He's been playing a lot of outfield, first base, outfield. Every day during batting practice, he takes 20, 30 live balls off batting practice, and he's taking balls in the outfield.
Yep, first base, third base, outfield. He's a busy man before the game.
Draws a walk. So 2 on for the Brewers, and back to the top of the order. Ricky Weeks will hit. Weeks has scored twice. 0 for 2. Couple of walks. Big day off tomorrow for the Brewers. What do you got in mind tomorrow, partner?
Little fishing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Lake Michigan.
Fishing for little fish or big fish?
Big ones, hopefully. Out on the big lake.
All right.
How about you?
Yeah, I'll probably do a little fishing myself.
You going to go find yourself a green suit to slip into?
I hear they're on sale now that school's back. Second run. Long run, going to be a tough play. Randy Wynn is coming in, and that ball's going to fall. It's a fair ball. Lucroy scores. Here comes Gamble. Gamble will be sent back to third as it bounces out. So that'll be a double for Ricky Weeks, a ground rule double. And Lucroy scores the run to give the Brewers an 8-1 lead.
Well, didn't hit it very well, but able to place it pretty well. One hop into the seats. Suppan able to get in on Ricky's hands. Actually, slider down and away. Got a piece of it and just dumps it in, tried that right field line. That's still more 2-out production for Milwaukee.
Every run tonight has been plated with 2 outs. All 8. It was a 3-run third, and then a 4-run fourth inning, and now a run here in the 8th. Corey Hart has an RBI. He drove in a 2-out run in the 4th inning. Broken bat. And it's Miles who will make the catch. The inning is over. The Brewers add to it. It is 8-1. We head to the 9th. Pretty complete ball game here tonight for the Brewers, offensively, defensively, and on the mound. Our Menards player of the game is Chris Capuano.
Well, the changeup once again was the pitch that set everything up to Cap. He only made the one mistake. That was a home run to Pujols from first. Establishing the changeup and then go with the fastball. The Cardinals really couldn't catch up to that pitch tonight.
So it'll be Jeremy Jeffress to try to finish it off here tonight. I think the big question with Jeffress, we'll see how he does here in the month of September in the big leagues, but do you keep him in the bullpen, or do you give him a chance to be a starter? He's been a starter his entire minor league career, and has one of those special arms that, as you can see, that you're not sure you want to give up on as a starting pitcher. But he certainly has the closer kind of stuff.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on how he performs in winter ball this year. You go to the Arizona Fall League and maybe have him catch up a little bit from all the time that he missed. If he's able to establish that third pitch, if he's able to get that in his repertoire to go along with the curveball, I think you might try him as a starter. If not, you just bring him out of the bullpen and let him just pump fastballs by hitters.
Now, one thing the Brewers like about Jeffress, especially Rick Peterson, is his mechanics. And you can see as he is in great balance on the mound, and it's easy heat from Jeremy Jeffress. He makes his fastball look effortless, and that's why it sneaks by so many hitters. And he has that pitch too, an excellent curveball.
Really hasn't shown the ability yet to throw it for strikes. Once he throws that pitch for strikes, look out.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rasmus, and the count goes 3-2. Again, the Brewers will take tomorrow off. A 3-game series with the Cubs begins on Friday night. Cubs in town for the last time. Dave Bush against Carlos Zambrano here Friday night. Kane got a late jump, but he's able to cover the ground with his great speed, and one away here in the 9th. So Jeffress will face Brian Anderson. Pinch hitting for Albert Pujols. Can't be all that bad of a guy, huh?
BA, huh?
Spells his name with a Y.
How many are there now in baseball?
I think maybe 4. That is a base hit. Huge one right on the line. And the young catcher with a double. Brian Anderson.
Yep, right off the end of the bat and just inside the third baseline, and it'll go down as a 1-out double.
How many players has LaRusso used tonight, Rob?
You want me to count them for you?
I do.
About the 9 that started the game, you're not going to count those,
no,
right?
Not counting those.
All right, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
And the
16, 17, 18.
18 players outside the starters.
Oh, including the starters.
Including the starters. 5 pitchers. 5 pinch hitters, or those that came in on double switches. That's a lot of players.
Yeah.
It's parents' night here at the ballpark. A disappointing finish to this series for the Cardinals, which is exactly how the Brewers wanted to send them out of here.
Got 2 outs to go before it is a disappointing finish.
John Jay, pinch hitting. And a swing and a miss. Jeffress with that big curveball strikes him out.
And that's away. The put away pitch. Well, establish that heater. Put him away with the hook. And what we've seen from John Jay, he struggled with that big curveball in this series. We saw it a couple of times.
Makes all the difference in the world whether he's ahead in the count or behind in the count. He'll get hitters to swing at it when he's ahead. Aaron Miles at the plate. He was the final out last night for Trevor Hoffman's 600th save. Excellent pitching for the Brewers tonight. Chris Capuano, 7 innings, just 1 run. Manny Parra, a scoreless 8th with 2 strikeouts, and Jeffress with 2 outs here in the 9th. St. Louis down to their last strike. Colorado leading Cincinnati 9-1 now in the 6th inning. Well, the Cardinals won't lose any ground. Little chopper, foul. Now you never know in Colorado. That game is in the bottom of the 6th. Tulowitzki and Seth Smith have homered. 9-1 Rockies. They're going after their 6th consecutive win. The Braves beat the Pirates. They keep pace with the Phillies, who also won tonight. Philadelphia defeated the Marlins. Phillies lead the East by a half game over Atlanta, and Atlanta leading in the wild card race. No balls, 2 strikes. Off the glove of Jeffress, right to Weeks. And that's your ball game. The Brewers take 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals. And that climb to a postseason is getting steeper and steeper for the Redbirds. Final score 8-1. Chris Capuano winning his 3rd victory of the year. He beats Jaime Garcia. Still much more to come on this game as we check in with Craig Cashon in our Brewers Live studios out in right field.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. Yeah, we hope to catch up with Chris Capuano. What a stellar performance on the pitching mound for the Brewers starter here in